Hi, everybody. I wanted to talk today about what to do when you're not sure what to do in your relationship. Maybe you're just starting to date, maybe you've been together for 6 months, maybe 2 years, and things are starting to feel confusing. You're unsure. Something is husking, something is peeling off, something is shedding, and it feels uncomfortable. And we don't know, do I stay with the person? Do I leave? Is this amazing? Or is this actually the worst relationship ever? And I'm gaslighting myself and I'm not realizing it. We tend in intimacy to have a lot of kooky thoughts, a lot of uncomfortable feelings. And because of that, it's really confusing to know what to do. It's really confusing to know, is this childhood stuff coming up and I'm just feeling triggered versus no, this relationship is really not something that I see long term, or we're starting to, drift away from each other, or actually we learned all the lessons we needed to from each other, or it just really needs to drastically change. Relationships are so confusing because it's dealing with our heart, and our hearts are the most dynamic things that we have. They're the organ that is moving energy and moving through energy all the time. And as it's moving through energy all the time and shifting states, it sends up messages to the brain, and then the brain condenses them into thoughts. Lots of our thoughts are farts. They are literally just stuff coming up from the body and then not really knowing what it is. So creating meaning, making meaning. There's anxiety in the stomach. This person's going to kill me. There's anger happening, coming up, and then the mind goes, oh, this person never, ever, ever, ever sees me or cares about me. Where really, it was a moment, a fight, an interaction, where 1,000 different factors were involved. And I'm with you in this. So first of all, I just want to validate how confusing that is and how normal it is. I have one client who all she wanted was this guy to commit to her. Just thinking, when is he going to commit? When is he going to commit? When is he going to commit? Da 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 da. And then once he committed, there were the thoughts of like, I don't know if I actually want this. And she just assumed because she had that thought now, the fear came up, the anxiety came up because he finally committed, that she doesn't want to be with him, as opposed to just seeing this as this is dynamics are like water sloshing back and forth between the two people. It's like energy dancing between. So this other person was holding the pole of avoidance, or holding the pole of uncertainty. So she was holding the pole of the yes. She was holding the pole of, we should do this. We should commit. We should have this container. Once he gave it to her, now she's holding the pole. Now it's given on her side of the court of uncertainty, unsure. I don't know about this, which is amazing. It just means that the relationship is now at the next phase, that the next things that are here to unfold or to bloom or to open up and to look at are now on her side. So because now she has this container of safety, of this commitment from this person, now she's able to come up with her own fears and her own anxieties. Now they're ready to surface. So you want to see all of these as, when you're unsure what to do, contextualize it of where are we in our relationship, or what just happened, or what need is being given, or what need maybe isn't being given that I now need to look at. Another thing that's really important to know is that we are all creatures of patterns. We have patterns. We have relational stories that started from a young age. We have things that happened in our 20s as teenagers. We are like a tree that you cut off and you see all the rings. We have that in our own psyche. We have all of these different rings of imprinting happening with us in us. So I have a freebie called How to Break a Pattern, where it helps you detect what those patterns are, looking at all your relationships and seeing that there's actually a thread that goes through it all. There actually is something that's kind of recurrent, and no shame at all. We all have them. It's part of our imprinting. Just like you have, ways that your body digests foods, and some foods you can digest and some foods less. You do that the same with your life. There are things that are harder for you to digest and things that are easier for you. So really getting clear on what is the pattern here, and what are the patterns here that are for my benefit, and what are the patterns here that aren't. And by working through that freebie that we'll put in the link at the bottom, you want to see what are the recurring stories, and where does my patterning or behavior mold the relationship, and what is a 1% break. what is something that I can do that breaks that? So if I'm usually somebody who waits until I'm so pissed off to say anything, so by the time I say it, I don't say it nicely. I actually say it bitingly, and then the relationship loses trust. What would be a 1% change? Maybe it could be even, hey, I'm feeling a lot of anger. I can't say it yet. Maybe it's writing down all the really, really, really bitchy things you want to say in a journal to the person, and then say that you have a journal entry and that they create it if they want. Whatever it is, we're not asking you to flip the switch to go from 0 to 100 and pattern breaking, but a 1% shift. What would be one tiny dance move that you can change that will change the entire dance? Another really important thing to do when you're unsure, which I think is a great tool, is called EFT, which is basically tapping through. So feeling the emotion coming up, feeling I suddenly feel disgust for a person who I'm so attracted to, or I feel fear around somebody who made me feel so safe. So going through the EFT tapping, which is really letting your body process that feeling out. What happens is that then we can have clarity where it brings us back into reality of like, oh yeah, I really loved this person and they were great for 2 years, and our relationship is coming to an end, and I can see that. I can see it happening, and that's bringing up heartbreak, so I want to deny it, or I'm pushing this person because I want them to break up with me. It will start bringing clarity in. This is hard work. Our relational patterning is some of the thorniest work that we have to do, and the same behavior can be coming from an energy that's really beneficial, or it can be coming from an energy that's actually trying to keep us safe and stopping our growth. It's hard to know. And that's why doing these practices can really help us. And what's most important is that all these practices bring us back to center, bring us back to a place of groundedness. So anytime you're feeling unsure, just know it. Just ask yourself, am I feeling grounded right now? And if you're not, don't make the decision yet. The decision will come from a place of clarity, from a place of centeredness. I promise. Do these practices until you get there. You don't have to decide today. You don't have to decide tomorrow. You can trust that when it's the right time, you'll know, versus ending it or running away right when it feels hard or right when it feels uncomfortable, or as things are starting to feel thorny. Relationships are like flowers. They unfurl in phases, and relationships have many different iterations and forms. So trust the process, trust what we're shedding into, and it might be its next iteration. It might be transitioning from romantic partners to co-parents, and it might be switching from romantic partners just to friends, and there's a shedding happening there. And it might be to get closer and work harder. It might be to exhale, that we actually need space. It might be to break up entirely. So trust that the relationship is moving in a way. It's trying, the way is showing the way. And by allowing ourselves to feel through the feelings, to process them out, and then get to a place of centeredness, the way will be really clear. The next step will be really clear. Hope that was helpful, and wishing all of you such a great day. Bye.